guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you are new, thank you so much for stopping by. Today's video is going to be a Goodnotes 5 tutorial. I'm just going to walk you through everything in Goodnotes 5. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So this is the Goodnotes 5 app, so I'm just going to click on that. And the first thing that pops up in Goodnotes 5 is the home screen. As you can see here, I have different files or folders for each semester. So for example, I have my fall semester of 2020, I have spring 2020, and then I have a spring 2021 for the new semester coming up. This is the home screen. So right here you have different options. You can organize the files or folders by the date, or the name, or type. I always just keep it on name because that's the default. Right here you have different options. You have search, so you can just search up anything that you have in Goodnotes 5. Right now I'm just pushing buttons. And then you have this shared option. So right now I have no shared documents, but you do have an option to share your notes or any documents with other people. And then you can select favorites. So as you can see here, these are all my favorite files or notes that I have tabbed. I used this when I was studying for my tax final. So as you can see here, if you hit the little red tab, it just saves this to your favorites. I'm gonna go back to the documents. Up here in the top right hand corner, you have this little check mark, and this gives you different options at the top. So you can export, duplicate, move, or trash. So if I select this, it's going to give me these options to choose from. And then you have this little settings or gear tab. So if I click on that, you're going to see some notebook templates. If you click on notebook templates, these are the different options it gives you. If you select this arrow, these are all the paper templates you have. You have the Goodnotes Standard, A7, A6, A5, A4, and A3. You also have letter and tabloid. And then you can also choose the color. So I always just leave mine on white, but you have different options to choose from. Right here you have portrait or landscape. These are some of the essential templates that you can choose from. So there's dotted paper, squared paper, there's a ruled paper. You can also import different templates as well. You have some other writing paper styles. So you have some papers with columns, you have 2-column papers. You also have some planner options right here. So you have an accounting template, a monthly planner C, you have to-dos, some of your little basic planner templates that you can add to the notebook. And then you have some music paper down here as well. If you click this default cover, you have different options to choose from as far as the cover of your notebooks. So it's kind of like when you go to the store and you pick different color notebooks for each class. This is kind of the similar option. As you can see, they give you different styles, colors, patterns. You can also import any covers as well. Then if I hit done, so I'm actually going to go back to the folder that I created when I first got my iPad Pro, which is this one. It's the spring 2020. So this is when I first became a digital student. Some notebooks that I have here from the spring 2020 semester. So like I said, if I click on this folder, these are all the notebooks that I had. I also have a folder within a folder that you can create, which is really nice. So I'm going to start right here. If I click on this new tab, you have an option to create a new notebook, a new folder. You can put images, scan documents, take a photo, import, and then you can also do quick note. So if I wanted to make a new notebook, I just kind of showed you all this. You can choose the cover that you want. You can choose the paper style. I always do the square paper, and then you can add your title. I'm going to just put Goodnotes for now. And then you hit create. And then it opens up the paper. If you click this back arrow, that's the notebook that I just created. You also have options to create another folder within a folder, like I just showed you, which is really nice. You can add images. So let's say like you're a medical student and you need some diagrams or anything like that. You can always add those. So you can save them to your iPad and then add them to Goodnotes over here. You can scan documents and send them as well. I'm actually going to show you some of my notes. Now don't judge, because this is when I first started taking notes on my iPad, so I was kind of getting in the groove with being a digital student, so my notes are a little sloppy, but these are some of the notes when I first started to become a digital student. But I'm going to start by these top 4 squares right here in the upper left hand corner. If you click on that, it's going to show you all of the pages that you have in the notebook. So this is my accounting 3120 notebook. These are all the pages of notes that I have in here. I also have a picture of a document in here as well. As you can see, you can add pictures in your notebooks too. This little magnifying glass, you can search different things. You can favorite the tab right here, which is what I showed you earlier, and then it pops up in your favorites right down here. This arrow with the box, if you click on it, you have different options to collaborate, export the page, export the whole notebook. You can also print it, which is really nice. So if I were to print out my notes, it literally looks like my handwritten notes on actual paper. And then you can mirror the entire screen, or these are different like presentation modes that you have, kind of like PowerPoint. I always just leave it on the default setting. And then you have the undo arrow and then the redo arrow as well. This little paper with the plus sign up here in the top right hand corner, if you click on that, you can add a page, you can add more templates, add images, scan documents, take a photo, or import, just like the options on the home screen. And then this little pen with the cross like over it, if you click on it, it's gonna let you use your Apple Pencil to slide the pages. And then if you hit on it, click on it again, it's gonna bring down the taskbar or the little menu up here. These 3 dots on the top right hand corner is the more options tab. So you can copy the page, you can rotate it, you can add this page to outline. So if you don't know what that is, in the notebook up here, you have the favorites. So like I showed you, I tabbed this to be a favorite. And then the outline you can do kind of like for each chapter. So let's say I wanted to add a page before this. So we're going to do before current template, and that's going to add a page before this first one. So let's say I'm going to do chapter 1. Ignore my handwriting. And then if I hit add this page to outline, you can type in chapter 1, add that, and that's going to be in your outlines up here. So it's kind of like when you go through a book, you have like a table of contents, and if you want to do like little study guides or something to help you go through the chapters a lot easier instead of kind of scrolling through like this, you can always just go to outlines and then hit chapter 1 and it takes you directly to that page. And then you can clear the page, which is what I just did. You have different scrolling directions. So normally I keep mine on horizontal, which helps me scroll to the side, but you can change it to vertical as well, which is just up and down. You can change the stylus and palm rejection. So if you have a different stylus other than the Apple Pencil, this is where you would go to change the setting. Single finger panning, that's just default. I have that on here. And then your writing posture is really nice because you can always just change how you normally write. This is how I hold my pencil, so I have this one selected. And then sensitivity, I just have mine on medium because I think that was the default that it came with, but you can always change that. Now I'm going to go through each of these little diagrams right here on the menu bar. So this little box with the little lettering on it, that's going to be your zoom in and out. So if you wanted to make your notes a lot neater, this is the option that you would use. So let me show you. I'm actually going to open a new page. So if I hit this zoom, this is going to pop up at the bottom, and you can kind of just make your notes a lot more precise and clean looking. So I'm just going to say, hi, my name is Natalie. And then the little box kind of moves as you write. You have some buttons down here. This is like an indent button. So if you see this little line right here, that's an indentation, and then this is to go back. Right here you have the little arrow that kind of turns the box. I don't know if you guys can see how it's moving as I'm tapping the arrow. You have this bottom arrow right here on the right hand side. That's going to drop the box down, and then that little button right here just cancels it. You have the pen setting right here. So you have 3 different pen options. You have the fountain pen, which is what I normally use, and then you have the ball pen and the brush pen. You have the tip sharpness, pressure sensitivity, draw and hold. So you can always just change these settings if you want to make some perfect shapes or anything like that. I'll go into that in a little more depth in a second. And then you have the stylus and palm rejection again, and then disconnect Apple Pencil. So the fountain pen, you can always adjust the tip sharpness. So we can do 75%, and this is what that looks like. I don't really change the sharpness setting. I just kind of keep it at 50, which is the default. And then the ball pen, let me show you what that looks like. So I changed the pen setting, and then I wrote it out for each of the 3 pen settings. So for the fountain pen, I wrote that right here. This is the ball pen font, and then this is what the brush pen looks like. I always use the fountain pen just because I feel like that looks a lot neater with my style of handwriting. The ball pen, you can always just kind of change the thickness up here. I'll talk about that later. And then for the brush pen, you can change the sensitivity, which deals with pressures. So if I push harder on the screen, it's going to be thicker. But if I push lighter, it's going to be thinner. So this is good for probably calligraphy, or maybe like if you want to create really cute titles, you can definitely do that. This is the eraser option right here. So if you click on it, you have different settings in the eraser, so you can clear the whole page. you can erase the entire stroke, which is what I normally do. So you'd have to turn that on. So I'm going to show you with that on, this is what's going to happen. It's going to erase that whole stroke. Whereas if that's off, you literally have to do this to erase the whole thing. So I always just keep this on. It's a lot easier. You can also keep this on or off. This is for the erase highlighter only. So if it's off and I have a highlighter, and let's say I have something written while highlighted, then if that's off, then the whole thing is gonna erase. But if that's on, then you can just erase the highlighter and keep the text there, which is really nice if you want to erase the highlighter, but just want to keep the text there. You can always do that. And then you have this auto deselect button. I just keep that off because that's what it came with when I bought the Goodnotes app. And then right here you have your highlighter option, so you can draw a straight line. If this is on, it's going to keep a straight line for the highlighter. If it's off, it's going to just kind of be how you would highlight normally. So you see how that's a little bit crooked and this is more of a straight line. So I always just keep that on just to make my notes look a lot neater. And then this is your shape tool right here. So if you are drawing diagrams or little graphs or something like that, if you have this on, it's going to draw a perfect circle or square or triangle. But if it's off, if you don't have that selected, then it's just going to draw a circle kind of that looks like that rather than this one, which is perfect. You also have an option to fill the shape with color. So if you select that and you draw a shape, it's going to fill it right here. So you have that option if you're drawing like diagrams and stuff. And then this right here is the lasso tool, which comes in handy literally all the time. So that just allows you to move things around the page. If you want to move like the shapes, you can. If your text up here, you don't want it there, you can move it down the page. So that comes in handy. I use that tool all the time. You have this little picture right here, which allows you to import different pictures. So let's say I wanted to add a picture, you just pick one and then you can put it wherever you want in the page. This right here is the camera button, so you can always take a picture and then add that to your document as well. This is the text tab. So if you have a keyboard, you can always type something on here if you didn't want to write it physically. This is a little laser. You can always just do this kind of like you would on the board if you're in class, like how your teacher does. And then I don't really ever use that, but it's there if you want it. Right here you have different color options, so you can always set 3 different colors. So right now I have black, purple, and white. Those are my colors that I've been using for my marketing class. I will show you right now. So as you can see here, I have purple, black, and white as my default colors that I chose for the class. And then right here you can see that I drew a diagram using the shapes button and then the fill color button as well. And then what I like about the color options is that you have so many colors to choose from, but you can also have like presets right here. So these are all the colors that you can choose. Let's say I wanted to add this dark orange. So now that is right here. So you can always change these. You can always like delete the color set, but you always have this whole color option, or you can add this little circle and like choose the color that you want. Right here you have the 3 different settings for your pen thickness. So I normally always use 0.5. This is normally a 1, and then I have 0.45 or 0.3 depending on like the mood I'm in and the notes that I'm taking. But you can always just set these to a different thickness. So for 0.5, mine looks like this. And then 1.0 looks like that. And 0.45 looks like this. So you can definitely switch those up depending on if you want to do like a title like that, and then have the smaller fonts as your like subtitles or anything like that. And then you can always just highlight different colors, which is really nice. So you have the little different tabs up here. So if I click on this one, it opens my accounting 3120 notebook. And if I click back to this one, it's my marketing 3650 notebook. This is a little X, you can exit out of that. The back arrow just takes you back to the home page. And that, my friends, is the Goodnotes 5 tutorial. It's pretty easy to use once you get the hang of it. But this is my favorite note-taking app that I use at the moment. I've been using this for a little over a year now, and I am very pleased with the app itself on the iPad Pro. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.